Welcome, guys, back to the I Love Wrestling podcast. I'm your host, as always, Justin Woolwine. Today, we are welcome with Triste. How we doing, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. And
Good.
yourself?
Excited. I know we was going to do this last week. Things got crossed. Now we're back. We're here. Excited to get this rolling.
Yes, sir. Card always subject to change. That's what I like
Yes,
to say.
yes. That's how the wrestling business works, and that's how podcasting works too, apparently.
Yeah.
um, Before we dive into your career, we got you started, maybe why you're a fan, things like that.
hmm
Would you like to shout out your social medias and maybe some upcoming events? Just let the fans know where they can find you.
Yeah, sure, man. My Instagram, mostly on Instagram and YouTube. For Instagram, it's triste underscore senpai. For YouTube, it's triste underscore BOI.
Okay,
Mhm.
easy. I like it. Seeing as how we are the I Love Wrestling podcast, I always start with this question. Not always, but I try to always start with this question. When did you find wrestling, and maybe what made you fall in love with it?
Wrestling, I've been watching it since I can remember, really. I've been watching a lot of stuff. WWE mainly back when Rey Mysterio, Batista, The Undertaker were like on top. The SmackDown was like on fire, but I also watched like AAA and TNA too back when it got started, like or not when it was like picking up steam in the mid to early like 2000s, and then
Okay,
just watched it ever since.
okay. What about it like really stuck out to you? Was it the characters or the moves? Like, what about it really drove you towards it?
I think when I was a kid, I just like watching them like beat each other up and like doing the cool moves. But
Okay,
definitely once I got older, I was like, oh man, this is interesting. Like you start thinking about it as like the storylines and like what does this move have to do with him, or what does this character have to do with like what's going on and stuff like that, and you just like dig yourself into a bigger hole down wrestling.
definitely. It's definitely a
Mhm.
rabbit hole because it's
Yeah,
once you start finding new people or new moves or different promotions, it never
yeah.
stops. And
hmm
it's something I've learned now, even as an adult, like doing podcasts. The names of indie talent or just wrestlers or whatever promotions doesn't stop. It just keeps
Yeah,
going and keeps going, and there's always a new like nook or cranny that you'll find some new wrestling in. So it's always fascinating.
yeah, definitely,
Um,
man. It's infinite.
what like how do I want to put this? Who I should say were your like favorites growing up? Who'd you pay the most attention to?
Growing up, definitely the Undertaker will probably be like the top guy I like looked up to, or like my favorite wrestler. But
Okay,
again, like Rey Mysterio from AAA, I always like La Parca, which is like a skeleton kind of dude, which is more character, funny kind of person. And then just move wise, I was like Booker T. I always thought he was like very underrated and stuff like that. Even since I was a kid, I was like, man, this guy's awesome.
definitely.
hmm
La Parka is really cool because somebody like him, you still see bits and pieces of his work in other guys. Like Penta, for
Yeah,
one, is the one guy that
and so yeah,
sticks out. The mask, the movements, and he's like an unsung hero, kind of. You'd
yeah,
think La Parka for sure.
yeah.
Um, in bringing up some of those guys, when you would eventually get to your time in the ring,
hmm
did you try to incorporate any of their styles or things like that into what you do in the ring, or do you have different inspiration?
Yeah, no, I definitely had like a lot of inspiration of like the Undertaker moves like him, but like you learn pretty quick because like some move sets aren't really like can fit your body or your or whatever you can do. Also try to do like Zack Sabre Jr. and like Daniel Bryan was like my more later like, oh, I really like them, like the technical kind of like locks and stuff, especially with Zack Sabre Jr. because he's so long, like his limbs are so long, and like I got like short limbs, I'm a shorter person, so I was like I can't I can't do any of
It's
these
not going to
moves
work.
without breaking an arm or a leg, but definitely still try to incorporate stuff, and then just try to do the stuff I'm like really really good at.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go back a little bit. I'm jumping all over the place,
You're
but
good, man.
you know, growing up, a big part of being a kid and being a wrestling fan is going to events,
Mhm.
live wrestling events. Was that something you was able to experience? And if so, maybe what was like your experiences going to live wrestling shows?
So live wrestling shows here in New Mexico was like very few and far between, mostly because like we have a commission, like a sports commission for wrestling, so it's
Hmm.
very hard to get like legal wrestling in the state, which is something
Yeah.
we can get through. It's crazy, but I remember watching like WWE come in town every so
Hmm.
often, and I was just like mind blown. I was like, oh, like this is so cool watching it in person instead of watching it on TV, because I think it's like the environment it just feels better. Like the bumps or like the characters, like you know, like they're there, they feel more real. Hmm. But I definitely recommend anybody that's out there that's never been to a show to like go to a show, man. Like it's
Definitely.
like it takes it to the next level.
Well, it's you like you can see the enthusiasm people have
Hmm.
on a camera, on TV or whatever, but when you're in the audience, that energy just it's different. So it's
Yeah.
nice. It's a completely different feeling when you're there
Mhm.
live and in person. Because like I've seen the most like timid or quiet individuals, they'll go to a
Hmm.
wrestling show and they're not quiet.
Yeah.
It brings something, wrestling events bring something out of you that you
Hmm.
probably didn't realize was there. And I think that's
Yeah.
the magic of wrestling.
Hmm.
Um,
I'll definitely agree with that.
growing up, a lot of fans or just people in general watching wrestling, they tend to grow out of it in a
Mhm.
position or a point in their life. But did that ever happen with you? Did you ever step away from wrestling and then veer back to it?
I never stepped away from wrestling, but yeah, growing up, I would see like a lot of like the friends or like the people I'd watch wrestling with it, kind of like leave the scene or not liking it, or saying
Yeah,
it's like or saying like it's fake and stuff like that. Which is like now that I do it, I'm like, oh man, this the stuff that you that your body has to go through is definitely not fake. But yeah, I think you definitely have to appreciate it for what it is, not what other people think it is.
definitely.
Mhm.
Did you ever have a plan B, or was wrestling always what you saw yourself doing?
No, I think I comment something on one of your videos. I was like, just seeing indie wrestling kind of like got me back into it, because it was like seeing people like on TV and stuff. I was like, man, these guys are like bigger than life. I'm like in the middle of like the desert, stuff like that. Um, so I was like, I never really. It was always in the back of my head. I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, like out of high school, I was like, oh, like maybe I could move to like Arizona or like Colorado, somewhere they have like schools. But I was like, oh, like that's a lot. And then eventually, yeah, just getting into indie wrestling. That's when it's like, okay, like I think I can do this. And I had a coworker that did like he wrestled in Texas and in Mexico, and he would
Okay,
just tell me all his stories and stuff like that. I was like, oh man, like I got to do this. And then we open. Well, my coworker, his good friend, opened up a school like a year and a half ago, and right when they opened, I was like, oh, I got to try this. I got to really, really put my foot to the, or what do you call it? Really put my foot to the metal with this.
definitely. Well,
Hmm.
when did you necessarily like find indie wrestling and realize that it's, I guess, obtainable, like it's something you could do?
I think it was like 2017,
Okay.
2018 when I don't know if you remember what culture pro wrestling,
Yep.
but it's like a UK kind of scene, right? And then that was like my first just exposure to indie wrestling, and then I would look up like other indie wrestling like in the US because I was like I really didn't know they had like this vast amount of like wrestling just everywhere. So I saw like they're a bigger promotion, but like MLW and stuff like that, and then I saw like the feeders to MLW or like bigger like Ring of Honor kind of stuff and where they get their people. And then
Yeah.
you'll find like random matches was like, oh, these guys are like in a local town, wrestling for like friends and family, and then they make it up to like slowly make it up to like bigger and bigger stages, and then just seeing how they like not everyone starts off like on the big stage, everyone like works up little by little, and seeing a lot of like uh, biographies like with Daniel Bryan when they had him like when they had like NXT, and he had his coach was like the Miz, and then people were memeing about like Daniel Bryan's been wrestling for like 10 plus years. I was like, oh, like I didn't know that. So then I saw him, and then like you'll see him like just progressively go through him and like just reach bigger and bigger heights. So I was like, oh, like that's a way to do it. So I was like, oh, I think I can do it if I work like my ass off. So hopefully hopefully I do. Mm-hmm.
You brought up earlier how a friend of yours and his buddy started a promotion was or a wrestling school. Was
Mm-hmm.
that what ultimately made you decide to say, "Hey, let me take a go at this," or was it something else? Like, was it something in your personal life that sparked that
I think
fire?
Yeah, I think it was kind of the right place, right time.
Okay.
Uh, because I just started a new job that was more 9 to 5 kind of thing. Before that, I was working at a bar like from like 4 p.m. to like 4 a.m. So I was like, I was out of shape, like at a bar, like food and stuff. It's all greasy food. I was like 260 something like that. And I was like, I need to like work out, but I don't have like the inspiration to like go to the gym every day. And then my friend, he told me, he's like, hey, we're opening up a new school. Um, and this is like 3 years after I met him. He's like, hey, I know you like wrestling, like come try it out. And then like I tried it out, and I was like I really like this. Like I have to like this is it. Like this is my opportunity. My schedule works well. Uh, well, the gym is in town, and it's motivating me to like really really work out, where it's like where I went from like just being like really lazy bum and like playing video games all the time, which I still play video games, but like just all day, and
Yeah,
then just changing it to like I was like, man, like I really want to live out this dream, so
definitely.
I gotta try it.
So, how long after like you started training before you had maybe your first match, your debut matchup?
My debut match I think was in May of last year. I
Okay,
think yeah, May 25th. I started training in August, so I think it was
just
what
under a
is that
year,
like? Yeah, so I think it's
eight,
like I'm not,
8 or 9 months.
yeah, 8 or 9 months.
Okay.
So usually the coach would tell me it's like, oh, it's gonna be like a year to like 2 years, but I was
Hmm.
like, no, I'm like I want to do this. I was like working out every day, so I was like I completely changed my life. So I was like I want to do this as fast as I can, as safe as I can, of course, but I really want to like get out there, do shows, um, and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's been like a year and 8 months now.
Okay. To
Mhm.
prepare yourself, like what are some of the biggest things from training that stuck out to you before that match?
Biggest things, probably like conditioning, um, being safe in the ring, like not doing anything else, or not doing stuff you don't know how to do, because
Hmm.
you don't want to injure yourself, you don't want to injure the other person, um, and just like the strength based kind of aspect as well, and then just knowing your body, which was like it wasn't it was a little different because like back in high school I did like mat wrestling, like high school wrestling.
Yeah.
So it helped out in a sense, but also like in another sense it kind of didn't, because it's like I'm like too stiff, like I'm very you when you wrestle you gotta like kind of loosen yourself up whenever you hit the mat, you take bumps and stuff like that. You gotta loosen. If you're stiff, like you're more prone to like injuries. So I think those three things were like the biggest things I had to like uh, look after, which I didn't like really think about was like the crowd work and stuff like that. So it was like the whole time I was just like going like pure emotion, and like my friends and family are like in the in the audience, and I was just like kind of like just doing what felt right. But that was one thing I learned after, was just like working the crowd and stuff like that.
What was some of the feedback, if you remember, from that match, and how did you feel?
I felt great. Everyone was giving me like really, really good feedback, especially for my first match. But I do credit a lot of it is because I wrestled my coach, my friend that got me into wrestling. So it was like it was it was just very good chemistry. I got lucky with him and him being my first match because it's not very often that say like a student gets to wrestle like someone that's been wrestling for such a long time. So I always try to live up to what how people think that I'm as good as I was in that match because I was like I think it was like try to give like so much credit to my coach because he really like uh, pretty much walked me through the match like the not the whole time but like leading up to it we were practicing like a lot.
What's it been like for you so far trying to break out and get out to the indie scene down in New Mexico and maybe the surrounding states?
Yeah, so New Mexico has been growing pretty quick in the past 2 years. We've had I think three promotions that are two based in New Mexico, one based outside of New Mexico. The two based here is DCCW and then Phase One Pro. I wrestle a lot with Phase One. They gave me uh, like I think like my most like constant work in New Mexico. DCCW gave me like my opportunity to debut for them. Uh,
Okay.
and then there's this one company in Texas. It used to be Shawn Michaels' school. That I don't know if you remember Rudy Boy from WCW,
Yeah.
but he comes around like every so often to do like a tequila fest or like a festival up in Chama. So he like booked us, me and my classmate, and then so we did good there. So we kind of go to Texas a little bit, and then my other coach, the head coach at my gym, he gets us booked in like Arizona. So it's a lot of it is connections, and then a lot of it is how well you do in the ring or like promo wise. There's some guys that makes like some sick promo videos. There's some guys that make like sick highlights. Uh, so yeah, it's very what do we call it? It's very you can promote yourself in different ways, but as long
Okay.
as you're promoting yourself in like the best way you can, then you get more shows. And I think I'm picking up steam this year,
Nice.
especially with more bookings. Mm. So I'm really happy about that.
So far, what's been maybe your favorite moment or match of your own so far?
So far, I did have this three-way match just last week in Arizona, but I think my favorite match is still my first match with my
Okay.
coach because I think he's only wrestled one more match after that. So I was like, oh, like I get to this is like one of his last matches, so it's kind of like it's all it would always be there with me. Mhm.
It means more. It has a little bit more. It's
Yeah,
that extra flavor to it.
yeah, exactly.
Um, as far as like looking forward, who are some of maybe the guys that are roaming through this indie scene that you maybe want to tangle it up with?
uh, Tangle up with. I definitely want a rematch with Tommy Two Scoops. He's getting traction. He's probably the biggest wrestler in New Mexico, but he wrestles like everywhere. I think he's one of those guys where it's like you see him, he has like a great look, great character. That he's like his next step is like more nationwide. So I definitely want to wrestle him again. I wrestled him uh, early in my career, so I was like, oh, I need to get more reps in and then get a better match. This other guy here in New Mexico, his name is Ocean. Big guy, just came back from Europe. He's a good guy. He's a great worker. I definitely like his style. And then there's a lot of guys in just like Arizona I think Arizona is getting pretty big too with AWF. A lot of their students are just like great athletes, great characters. So there's so many like I can't even like name them off because it's like 20 names just pop in.
What, if you have,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say is a dream match? Who's a bucket list?
A dream match. I always had the my dream match to be like Daniel Bryan, but of course uh, he's near end of retirement if he hasn't retired already. Uh, but I say like I have like less not necessarily like dream matches right now, but I just want to like have great matches where I can like wrestle people that I've seen on TV, wrestle people like that I grew up watching, stuff like that. I feel like any of those matches would be like a dream match for me.
Okay.
Hmm.
Recently, WWE has announced the WWE ID system,
Hmm.
the WWE ID titles, things like that. Is that something as an independent wrestler that you're paying attention to, maybe in hopes, maybe to get ID'd or to have a champion come across and maybe you could take that title and get ID'd that way, something like that?
Yeah, definitely, man. Like when there's opportunity, you have to take it. Because like you never know when the next one is gonna be, when your next opportunity is gonna be. So you gotta stay prepared. Definitely the ID program I think is gonna be great uh, for indie wrestling in general because it does get more eyes on just like a wider range of athletes, a wider range of characters. So definitely, yeah. If it comes through, or if I'm able to go somewhere where it's like, like this promotion works with ID, WWE ID people, it's like, oh, that's a promotion I want to go to. Oh, this guy is a WWE ID person. It's like, oh, that's a person I want to wrestle. Definitely, yeah. The more eyes on yourself, the more eyes on promotions on the local promotions, the better it is for the business in general, especially for indie wrestling.
Definitely.
Hmm.
I know me and you talked about it a little bit off camera, but your ring name has some meaning to it. Where did
Yes.
the Triste ring name come from?
I think it's just like a turn of endearment. Growing up, like I grew up like in the worst part of town, stuff like that. So definitely grew up with like depression, um, and stuff like that. I had to like work to get out of like the situation I was in this whole time, and it's like the whole the thing I always like kind of associate with like that time in my life, like in my youth, was like, oh, like sadness, you know what I'm saying? But in spite of that, I still got out. I still am able to pursue my dreams. I was like, oh, like I like that. Like I like the aspect of like overcoming it, like the sadness, the depression, and using it to like something positive, to like push yourself, especially in wrestling, because you really need to push yourself if you want to make a name for yourself.
Definitely, definitely.
Hmm.
I got one more question for you.
Yeah.
We're about I want to say a third of the way through 2025. What are your goals for the rest of the year? Where do you want to see yourself by the end of December?
End of December. I definitely want to hit up a few other states because I talked about wrestling in Texas, wrestling in Arizona. Definitely want to go to California. The show I had in Arizona was by Santino Bros, and they're pretty big. Like I don't know if you guys follow them on Instagram, but they do a lot of like training videos, stuff like that. They got a
Yeah,
bunch of followers. I was like, oh man, like I really got to go like California, maybe push more north to Nevada, Colorado. That's definitely something I want to do is just travel a bit more and just keep uploading stuff on my YouTube because I think that's another way, or that's something that I see some wrestlers do, but not uh, a lot, or especially consistently wise. So I try to like push my videos like on YouTube, so I can have like people or promoters, promotions look at them or other wrestlers is like, oh, this guy, I like the way he wrestles or stuff like that. Get me more out there. Mhm.
Definitely. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being a fan watching them. That's how we connected, was through the comment section. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
And I'm going to, as I as I try to always do, I'll leave the door open. If you ever want to come back on here, do a little update, I'd absolutely
Yeah,
love
man.
to
Of
have you
course.
for part two.
Yeah, yeah, of
Uh,
course. And I want to thank you. Yeah, thanks for giving me like this is another opportunity as well, because I know you got like a pretty cool YouTube stuff like that. A lot of other wrestlers come into your podcast, and it's a very enjoyable show. So I'm glad to be part of it.
Of course, thank you. I mean, it's a platform for anybody, and I've learned in this business so far through the little bit of time I've been able to work with you guys that the more
Mm,
we can connect, the more we can work together, the bigger we'll
mm.
all grow. So I'm glad I could maybe help give you a different platform to showcase yourself on.
All right, man. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
Of course, before we go, did you want to share your social medias, your YouTube one more time? Just let the fans know, just in case they missed it at the beginning.
Yeah, of course, man. For Instagram, it's Triste Trste underscore Senpai Senpei. For YouTube, it's the same Triste underscore Boi, and those are the two main socials I use.
Perfect. Thank you, man. And I'll just leave this off on see you next time.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Have a good one.